Here we go.
We gotta change up that tarps off photo in the intro.
If anybody wants to know how important Dakota Josh was to the Vancouver Canucks, that was the game. Okay, so condiments. This is everything.
Everything. So we run the gamut completely, right?
I'm talking about sriracha on the bottle.
Sriracha?
Sriracha. It's that silent R that screws me up.
Is it a silent R?
I don't know. Like, who's tall?
Who's tall?
Chris Pronger, wasn't he tall?
Chris Pronger was tall. Yeah.
Welcome to the PP1 podcast.
Are you kidding me? That's what?
Got it back.
What was that?
Remember this? It's from Drake.
Oh, okay. Not a big Drake
He's in some legal trouble right now.
Is he really?
It's self-inflicted, really.
Isn't it always self-inflicted?
Yeah, he's going to like Universal Music or something because Kendrick's well, I can't remember the track, but it was like the rebuttal diss track to Drake was gaining so much steam and it was like causing him to lose like listens, or I don't know. Like, it's like, dude, that's the point. So his lawyers are like, we are not touching this case. So anyway, good times. Welcome to the PP1 podcast. This is a Canucks based podcast, but we will talk about other things. We're on the Hockey Podcast Network. We're with DraftKings Sportsbook and Game Time, promo code THPN, but you guys knew that already. I am joined with the man who can only say Yahoo every time he comes to the PP1 podcast. My man, Teddy Wong III. How you doing, bro?
Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Good. I don't know what's going on. We just go log in, and then for some reason all my default browsers are set to Yahoo.
That's weird.
So anytime I want to like go to Google, I got to like Yahoo search Google, and then it won't like. It's just the most ridiculous thing.
It's like after you go to google.com to Google something, like you can just type that in. No, not here.
No, not I.
Google.com. It's like talk it into your phone. Friend of the show. This is just a random thing that popped in my head. So our good buddy B-Mac, he's host of a morning show on Virgin Radio in town here. Anyway, he's talking about, and I'm going to screw everybody's algorithms up, by the way, as I mention this. He's talking about this rug he wanted to get on Black Friday from Ruggables. I've never even heard of this company until he brought it up. Anyway, it's like, I don't know. It's an expensive rug, but it's got like a backing on it so you can wash it, whatever. Anyway, I have never heard of this company until he mentioned on the radio. I literally opened up my phone when I got to work and I was checking quickly, and literally this ad comes up for them. And I texted him, I said, I hate you so much. I said, I didn't even know who these guys were. And clearly everything's listening. So I'm sorry for everybody that has Ruggable ads in their Facebook feeds and everywhere else going forward. But I'm screwed, so are you. We had an early Canucks game this morning that ended amazingly well. We'll get into that. We've got, we should probably start planning our Christmas show. Are we going to do one of those again? Like the ones that go way too long and have way too many people, and then Ryan Schapp's walking the mean streets of Vancouver?
I mean, if we can, why not? I feel like it'd be rude not to.
They're so much fun. So we'll have to plan that. I saw Grant last weekend.
Oh, you did?
He picked up a T-shirt. We were on our way to Richmond, and so I met him up in Abbotsford, and it's on the way, obviously. So he's doing well. He's looking good. He was telling me about his boys' trip a couple weeks ago where they're shooting guns and out in the back 40. Do you see any pictures from that?
No.
Man, it looked like guys that should have been supervised, but in a safe way. And I don't know, it worked out. So anyway, he's doing good. Picked up, he got another one of our shirts. Feel free to buy one, folks. They're clearing them out for $20. So anyway, he wears this so much, he said, I need a new one. So there you go. They're not indestructible, but if you wear them that much, they can be. So, Grant's doing well. Yeah. He said we need to come out golfing there or something, or catch an Abbey Canucks game. I'm like, well,
that's the plan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been saying that for a couple of years now, and I still haven't made it down there to do that. But
You had a few things. You had a few things come up.
get some things pop up.
I mean, legit. That's gonna cause you to reset the TED counter a couple times. So that's fair. Nobody's gonna hold that against you. Like I said, Canucks they're on their Thanksgiving U.S. Eastern Canada or Eastern North America road trip. So they've had some fun ones. We had Boston, Buffalo, Detroit was this morning. Am I missing one? Who's the other one that I missed? Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So things are going pretty well with the Canucks. Kevin Lankanin is the first goalie, which not Thatcher Demko. We got our tree today, so my brother-in-law and I were talking. I'm like, not Thatcher Demko, not Roberto Luongo, Kirk McLean, any of these guys. Kevin Lankanin,
Buffalo,
first goalie.
Buffalo.
Pardon me?
Buffalo in that list he called out?
Yeah, I think I'd call Buffalo, yeah. Kevin Lankanin, first goalie in NHL history to start the season 10-0 on the road. I mean, no one's really keeping track of that specific stat.
Hey, man, your name's in the record books. That's pretty freaking cool.
Pretty awesome. And he's on our team, and he's not on Nashville's team. So that's good. So, yeah, things are going well. Like,
yeah, some crazy names in that list, too, like Martin Brodeur, Glenn
he's
Hall.
Good.
Yeah.
Both good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good for him. Shelovs looks like not even close to the same goalie we saw last year. I mean, not even remotely close. He's had maybe 5 good saves that we can all remember. Other than that, it's been Lankanin to go.
Well, there was the glove handoff. Was it glove handoff or blocker handoff save? Blocker handoff save.
Blocker hand, yeah, that was good.
Glove off, yeah, that was a good save.
Just I don't know.
His moments, it's tough, right? Like they've been in a situation where like he's let in what seems like the first goal of the game on just like the first few shots, like every time.
Yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
So that's tough. I feel like the team hasn't given him a whole ton. Like there's been games where they played well enough that they should have won for sure. But I mean, every win I think this year except for one goes to Lankanin.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. You got to get that fixed. I think you square away some sort of goaltending on. Maybe it's time to just call Talapilo up and see what he's got.
It's not going to hurt.
Yeah. I mean, I think the guy just needs more games, period. Right. So, yeah.
But he kind of had a run to start, didn't he?
Who's that? Shelos?
Yeah. Didn't he have a run to start the season?
I mean, they played some more games, but it happened so quickly where it was like, had a bad game. Lankanin's in, has a good game. Back to Shelovs, had another bad game. Lankanin's back in, had another good game before you knew it.
Right, the hot hand.
On that run of like 6 or 7 games straight where he almost burnt out.
Yeah.
And I think there was some time where Shelovs got sent back down to the farm and then was back up and did play some games. And that was good. I think that was the intent all along. But you need to get that squared away now. I think the team is not in a situation where they can't have high level goaltending. I don't want to say elite, but maybe it's elite to win these hockey games. And he was fantastic again tonight. Or today, I should say. This
morning even, some might say.
Yeah, this morning.
9:30 game when you're having to choose between watching the Canucks and game 1 of the NFL is.
I mean, I got lucky. Obviously, my team doesn't play till tomorrow night.
Yeah, so that's fun.
The Canucks game.
That's fun. Both of my fantasy teams are just
Is this
oddly good right now.
There's a Canucks game going on this early. Like I have a hard time remembering to start my lineups because I'm like paying attention to what's going on in hockey.
Yeah, I got a rule like 9:00. I got to be tinkering the lineup, making sure everybody's healthy. Josh Downs was out, and I threw in Marcus Valdez-Scantling, who I'm pretty sure I absolutely dummied on our football show last year. And he became a hero today, just before our podcast started. So thank you, MVS.
The season.
We got our tree today. Do you guys have your tree already?
Yeah.
Do you do real tree or fake tree?
We did the real tree thing for a little while, but the youngest one is like super allergic, we found out. So
to real trees?
Yeah. So we just stopped doing that.
Is it specific trees? Like, could you get like a fir and I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose we could try it out every year with a new tree and see if it worked. But in the meantime, she's ridiculously allergic, puffy eyes.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So we tried out a new brand of tree this year. And by brand, just different species. We went with a blue spruce, and the shaft of this thing, let alone the rest of the tree, trunk shaft? What do we call it?
Trunk?
I mean, the trunk's the bottom, or is that the whole middle part?
I thought it was the whole middle part. I mean, I am no tree expert, so
Okay, if we could get some.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't go trunk shaft, but
Anyway, this thing feels like a porcupine. Not the funnest tree to carry to the vehicle, let alone have to hold up as you're trying to sturdy everything and get it level. Wife's holding it. I'm trying to tighten up the bottom. Then we switch, and I'm just like, this is like the most. Our cats, if they even remotely try to like do something with this tree, it's gonzo. We might not have cats by the end of Christmas. It could be great, actually. It's actually not a bad idea.
We threw the cats in the garbage.
Yeah, what happened? Well, they tried the tree and lost. So, like, it feels like a porcupine or a hedgehog. I've held a hedgehog, so I can vouch for that. But yeah, really cool. We're gonna go with a minimalistic look this year.
Porcupines are pretty aggressive, I feel like, in terms of how pokey they are.
Yeah, and they can shoot their quills. Or how does that work? I heard they don't shoot them.
I think they stick you with their quills, right? So
yeah,
you bump up against it, and then it releases it, and it stays in you.
They'd be terrible at the club. It's not good.
No.
So yeah, porcupines, cool animal though.
Sure.
I mean, dogs seem to like them, unfortunately. Anyway, it's pokey tree. We're done. It's officially December. I am all for Christmas now. I can't do the November 1st or the November 12th or whatever people do. That's too early. It's too much. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm in a very small group, and I'm sure I am, but like, that's a lot. I just can't. There's other stuff that needs to happen. That being said, for the first time, well, I've worn it a few times. This was the shirt I bought before Christmas last year. It didn't arrive till January the 13th. We got Johnny Canuck as Santa in the skate logo. Is there a better Christmas shirt? I open up the floor.
I mean, that's a pretty damn good one. As far as Canuck ones go.
This is pretty decent.
I mean, maybe you could have like Pat Quinn delivering presents or something like that. I don't know.
Now we're just tugging at the heartstrings.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Wow. Pat Quinn delivering presents. I don't know how you'd do that into a t-shirt, but
well, I mean, it would be, instead of Johnny Canuck, it'd be Pat Quinn in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm really like grasping at straws on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Finn, even you could do. Finn would have been in low-hanging fruit.
Sure.
I guess. So let's talk some Connect. Brock Besser's back.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to he's thugged it up since his return. Apparently, after you get a concussion, you become a mean mug. So he's had a ton of penalties, most notably like Boston. And I think he had a few in the Buffalo game too. So, like, is Brock Besser now like on a mean streak?
I don't think so. I think I think we're safe on Brock being.
Work with me here. Work with me here.
It's like, what is?
Yeah.
I don't even know what all these penalties for. I'm going to assume it was hooking and tripping, and
some of them are garbage. Yeah.
Just like I'm behind on the play because I just missed like 7 games.
Yeah, it's probably that. But I mean, it was just fun to see because like back-to-back penalties. But I think he scored too.
He's your new age enforcer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not expecting it.
He gets up there, he thugs it up a little bit, pops a couple goals, no problem.
Yeah,
that's what you're looking for, right?
Very much liking the Brock Besser. Hopefully, we get JT Miller back because there's a new combo in town. Actually, we were supposed to go. When were we supposed to do our show? Like Thursday. That was kind of the idea. Mm-hmm. So I had Kiefer Sherwood is this PD's new long-term guy. Well, since then, Jake DeBrusk has looked pretty good on that line too. Like, is it now just more than a pairing? Is like this the line that we're going to be hanging our hat on for a while? And today, literally.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how many points this line had again, but I know that obviously DeBrusk had 3 goals and an assist, I think. So a 4-point night. We were just talking last week that if this team is going to continue to tread water or at least try to continue to make up ground, that it's going to have to be guys like DeBrusk that finally step up. He's been huge of late. Again, because I'm in Yahoo mode right now and I can't search this stuff.
I will Google it.
I can't even look up the team stats right now, but he's been really good. Like every time I look up the guy's open, he looks fast out there, like he really does. and I think he fits well on that line. And Petey's been doing some sort of shifty in and out stuff. He's still not all the way back. Like the fastball is not all the way there yet, but he's back to looking like good Petey again, which is nice. He's not like elite Petey. But Sherwood is just a real nice player to have on that line. Hey, like.
So I'm looking at Jake DeBrusk. So in his last 5, he's got 7 goals, 2 assists in his last 5 games. 4 of those are power play goals, in case you're wondering how important those are. And plus, like it matters, but plus 5. No penalties in that time. Obviously gets a big one against Boston. Everybody was just, did you see him just dogging him after the win? Like they knew. It's funny. Sometimes these return games aren't as big as the fans and everybody makes them to be. And then sometimes it's a big game. Like, I mean, Jake DeBrusk started his career there, right?
Yeah.
So it was the way that game went, and for him to score, and then once you knew the game was going to be over, everybody was just all in on DeBrusk. And it's got to feel good knowing like your new guys got your back.
Well, how did you say in his last 5 games he has how many points?
Well, 7 goals, 2 assists.
Okay. So, I mean, he's got 15 points on the season. So he's 7 goals, 8 assists on the season. So
he's done all of his damage this week.
Couple goals. The guy's been a streaky scorer. Yeah, that puts him closer to pace for his last year's totals. He's got a chance now. Yeah, I mean, he's somebody I think we identified that had to do more this last little bit.
Yeah.
And now he's finally just producing, right? So the trick will be actually like when Miller comes back, if Miller comes back this season, whatever that timetable looks like, you can get him back into the rotation. The lines kind of just continue to even themselves up a little bit. Obviously, if Miller's back, he's helping Brock's game. You're still waiting for Dakota Joshua to sort of turn it around a little bit as well. Then you have Garland rolling too, right? I mean, you could be looking at some really nice lines just down the road here if they can sort of just keep it all together.
Colton, I believe you know Colton.
Yeah, he's my workmate.
There you go. Shout out from South America. We're global now.
He's on the big trip right now. So
I don't know what that means. The big trip.
Big trip. He's out in Colombia right now.
He's going to.
He just sent me a bunch of pictures of him like doing Machu Picchu with his girlfriend. So
that is incredible.
Cool. Yeah. So some pretty crazy views. We were talking about him getting up there, and like his worst fear is like he was going to be there and it was going to be like super foggy and you wouldn't even be able to see the views. But from the pictures that I saw, it looked pretty sharp. So
first time I went to LA, it was all the haze from all the fires and everything. And so we're up at Griffiths and they're like, on a clear day, this is probably one of the nicest views. I'm like, well, this really sucks because this doesn't help me right now. But Machu Picchu, that'd be awesome. I thought the Transformers destroyed that in the last movie I saw.
I think so. Yeah.
So they rebuilt it.
So he went to, it was Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and there might be one other place, but yeah, him and his girlfriend Dana. So that's kind of stoked for those guys.
Wow. That's a lot of fun. So I guess so, and I'm just going to say this. So that was all fake in the movie of the Transformers?
No, it was real. They rebuilt it.
They rebuilt it. Yeah. So, okay. It's
actually known as Machu Picchu 2.
MP2. MP2?
Yeah. Did anybody even watch that Transformers movie? Which one was that? I did.
I don't remember. It was a newer one. I don't remember. We just like threw it on like a month ago. I can't remember. Megan Fox wasn't even in it this time.
Has she been in any of them for a long time?
I don't even remember. I don't know. They were out there and there was, I don't know, it was pretty good. I mean, it was all right for a Transformers movie. It treaded water just fine. Quinn Hughes, 3 assists. Yeah, basically. Quinn Hughes had 3 assists today. He's now the all-time leader in assists for Canucks defenseman anyway. So did he do the points thing already though? Like with his goals? Like is he like assists and points? So I don't know. That one I wasn't like geeked up on. I'm like, well, whatever. He's got the points already and he's won a Norris. So it's like these are just like footnotes, I guess. Like they're just assumed stats, I guess, if you will.
He's a little bit good. He's now up over a point per game pace now on the season. So, what did he? Just
He
one
looks
assist
so.
this game?
He had 3.
3 assists. The guy's just.
I think so. Yeah.
He's having to play more, obviously, because Hronek's out.
That's not
If
good
I'm
either.
being honest,
Did
I
they
feel
say
like watching
the
that
update
game,
with Hronek is?
I remember who his D partner was, but he just has the puck all the time. Feels like you can just put whoever you want with him. It's ridiculous.
He played like 31 minutes or 32 minutes tonight or today.
What does it say here?
Something like that.
24 minutes?
Well, on the radio, they said 31.
That's the average. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's average. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just one of those guys that you just can't help yourself every single time he's got the puck. Like the goal he scored last game was just insane. Like I'm just going to walk through everybody and score. And he just makes it look so effortless. And yet you watch how he does it and you know that there's a handful of guys that can do that in the NHL. Like a handful. That gracefully too. Like Connor McDavid, the way he does like all his moves, they're very, like, you can see they have a similar brain, I guess, of foresight of how the rest of the play is going to go. But I mean, is Connor I guess he's more of like he can make it in a phone booth kind of guy, but
sure,
he just, maybe he's more flashy when he does this stuff, where Quinn Hughes is like more of like a knife edgy kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like Connor is just going to straight up beat you with like pure speed and explosiveness, right? And
yeah,
and he's quick. Like his agility level is ridiculous. Like he left, right, turning, angles, edge work is all phenomenal. But I think like in terms of just the edge work portion of it and the dartiness and where he conducts it from on the top of the line while he's walking it, and a quick head fake, the guy takes one step and he's cutting in the opposite direction. Like it was like back in the day when we were watching Gretzky play, right? There was like nobody that could turn quicker than Gretzky, right? Like he could be going full stride, however quick that was. I don't know. He wasn't a super fast guy, but he could turn and then be back in the opposite direction and then picking up speed just as quickly as he was going, 2 steps prior in the opposite direction, right? So Quinn's got some of that in him when he's making his moves left, right. And then he's now learned to sort of make that left, right, and then drive directly to the net. And then he cuts right up the seam to create that dangerous shot, right? If he's not, he's walking the line, he's just letting it go. He's got the goalie moving left, right. Like it's super dangerous. And
I was going to say that, like, it seems to be, that's a great point. So with Quinn, it does seem like when he's doing all this stuff that he's always seems to be in like a danger zone. Like not that he's going to get creamed or anything, but that, he's having to walk the line just so scarcely, right? Like he's having to be right on that perimeter all the time. And then he finds something to open up space. You're absolutely right. Like, I love that comment, the dangerous thing.
And I think even like these last couple of games, it seems the teams are trying to like pressure him even more. Like they're putting their best skater on him. Like there was a couple of times where Dylan Larkin was covering him up at the point. As we all know, like Larkin's a phenomenal skater, right? He's
very good.
He's got to be faster than Hughes still at this point, even at the age he's at now. And I think when you're pressuring him, he's still able to make these moves and then put the puck on a string and make a breakout pass that turns into a breakaway, like we saw into this game as well, right? Like he's so good, and like I want to even take it a step further because we're talking about overtime and just these last 2 OTs, they have the puck like all the time, and I think so much of that has to do with Quinn. And you really notice it when a guy like Susie's out there just doing like a normal job and it's fine. But it just seems like he's an extra forward and they give him that respect now when they're trying to cover him, trying to put all that extra pressure on him. But he still just makes guys miss. It must be just an absolute, like, you must just be absolutely terrifying trying to cover a guy like that on the line, not knowing what you're supposed to be doing and then not having the defensive acumen of an actual defender. And then him attacking like that, he's just exposing forwards left, right, and center. So it's wow right now.
I'm just going over the schedule because I'm wondering when this is. So December 16th, this is the game, and I want to bring this up because it's going to be fun to see when you see these two match up again with Makar and Hughes. So December 16th is Saturday, Sunday. So Monday night, December 16th, 7:30 game. That's going to be one of those. I mean, they've got a Boston and Panthers mixed in there before, but Quinn Hughes and Makar, I think, and it's not like you're comparing. It's just you're going to get to see the two best defensemen. No, but I mean, you're going to compare them, but it's just like how do I say this?
You have to compare them.
I mean, it could be the kind of game where the Canucks get shelled out or Avalanche get shelled out, and you're like, all right, well, this guy clearly sucks. Like, just seeing both of these guys at work in the same game, and I don't know, it just super awesome to see, and it's gonna be exciting, especially at Rogers Arena.
This is like so last year when it was Quinn sort of ascending to the Norris Trophy, where we all felt like he was going to be the guy that was going to win it. It was that he's great this year. He's having a year of years, but Cale's on a down year this year. He's hurt. He's had some injury trouble. Like, you're not seeing Cale at his full extent, and the only reason that it's not Cale winning this award this year is because he's having a down year with some luck or whatever, right? But this year it was a little bit different, right? Like, Colorado started off like gangbusters. Cale was just lighting it up. He was outscoring Quinn. I think he had a 10-point lead on him at one point. Maybe more. Might have been 12 points. I could just be talking out my ass. I don't know. But
I tried that once. It's so much fun.
He looked offensively like he was just racking up points, right? The Colorado power play was really clicking at that point. Vancouver hasn't really got going yet to this extent, right? And I think it's a little bit different in that there's other players on Cale's team who are better and more important to that franchise right now. Maybe not better, but they're racking up points at a pretty amazing rate themselves. If you talk about McKinnon and guys like that, right? That really stir the drink for that team. And so he doesn't have to be everything to Colorado like Quinn does in Vancouver. And then very slowly, Quinn's been on such a tear point wise that, I mean, he's really knocked down the door a little bit here. And I mean, we're looking at 32 points for Cale now. He's got 8 goals, 24
Quinn's
assists.
at 20. Quinn's at 28. Yeah.
28. So he's really like closed the gap on this, right? And then he continues to be all world for the Vancouver Canucks, especially in terms of how important he is to this squad. So we're now going from this sort of like storyline where Cale was the guy and is the best defender, and Quinn's also here now, and he's arrived, and he's going to win the Norris Trophy this year. But it has more to do with the fact that Cale is out. Now everybody is running here, and both these guys are up and going, and they're both lighting it up right now. And to me, Quinn is the more important defender, and he's the better defender.
That's not Makar's fault, though, that he's not the more important defender.
No, it's not his fault, but it has to play into it when you're voting for these guys, right?
Sure.
He's had to be more to his team than Cale has had to be. And at some point, I feel like just at the pace he's going, he's going to catch Cale here pretty soon. And then what? I think it would be you can't argue with it anymore. Last season aside, for a down year for Quinn or Cale or not, Quinn is like looking like just the better defender overall.
So this is looking, I'm just going over the stats right now, and these are updated because it has the Detroit points in there too. So I'm not going to go the plus minus because that's stupid. I mean, Quinn's already had 19 minutes in penalties, although we already know why some of those penalties shouldn't count. But we're going to leave that alone for a bit. We'll talk about that in a bit. Even strength goals, 5 for Quinn, 4 for Cale Makar. Now, the even strength points thing is interesting. So Zach Werenski, Cale Makar, and Quinn Hughes all have 17. Both of those, Makar and Werenski, both have 2 and 3 power play goals, respectively. And then on the power play points, like they're all like it goes Makar 14, Shane Gossesbeer is apparently still playing. 13 power play points, and Quinn's got 11. I mean, those numbers are all so even. Now, time on ice is a little bit of a different one. So, but they're all in that 24, 25. So you're right. Like, you look at the guys that are at the top, and he's right in there, and he belongs right in there. It's almost just like, do you think Philip Sedina could have done the same thing had Detroit not drafted him? And we
oh my God.
like,
Just I still like visions of Jimbo like just sprinting to the podium, like
Like
in the
the
suit
IKEA
with those
commercial.
wild
Get in the
eyes, right?
car. I still like I can't believe it. I remember yelling in my car when they made that pick. When Detroit
Yeah.
made Zadina, I'm like, no way.
Oh,
This
I
isn't
just
real.
started cheering. It was crazy. But yeah, like 9 points in his last 5 games, right? Like he is on an absolute tear right now, and it seems like he has the puck even more with Hronek out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and has there been an update on Hronek about that, or did they say tomorrow?
I don't know. All I know is, and I don't even know if it's the same shoulder, but when he came to Vancouver, he had shoulder issues.
Right.
And he went into that board awkwardly, hit the dasher, and it was instantly to the shoulder. Skating to the bench with the drooped over.
Oh, that's not good.
Like it just didn't look good.
I
Like
didn't
it
see
was.
the injury and I haven't checked it out. So
Yeah, I mean he's so important to this team. Like in the game where Quinn was tossed early for the hit on Norris,
right.
Hronek was the guy, right? I mean
Mhm.
you saw him carrying the mail. You saw him doing his classic breakout passes. Like he doesn't obviously skate like a true number one, right? But he breaks the puck out as good as anybody right now, and he's so important to this team. And to have him out, and he's got some bite to his game, like so much more
He's
than I
super
thought.
valuable. Well, I mean, they locked him up, and that was the talk last year, right? You and I argued and argued and argued, and when they locked him up, you're thinking, well, that's why he's so important. They can't let this guy walk. They can't let this fizzle away. And an injury, I think this makes the trade rumor, not trade rumors, but the trade, the need for a trade a lot greater
Sure.
because they're going to be able to trade Water for a game or two. I think that's inevitable. Like it's going to happen and they'll be okay. But you're going to start asking Carson Soucy to be more of a defenseman. He can't be. Brandstrom has been playing great. But again, all these guys are being elevated up the lineup. And you're going to be asking Quinn Hughes, be like, dude, we actually need you to be playing 30 minutes a game until this gets fixed. Well, he's going to burn out. I mean, he's young and he's incredible. But if he's going to stay incredible, you have to give that guy some kind of sheltered minutes. And they don't have a full defense, especially when you lose who you've lost already. And I think, I mean, especially up front, you lose JT Miller, and we still don't have Demko, which that hasn't mattered a whole lot, but it's going to at some point. All these things are going to add up, and they need to do what they did last year and get ahead of whatever trade market is out there. And just to go like whether it's Marcus Patterson or whoever they're going after, or Truba even, but you got to get ahead of it. I mean, is Niels Hoglander? It looks like he's kind of in the coach's doghouse right now. He hasn't been scratched, so that's good. But I mean, it's looking. You can see him on the bench. It's
I
not
mean,
looking
if you
good.
did, you can't scratch him, right? He probably didn't.
No, I
Probably
know,
deserved to be scratched the last little bit,
but you can't.
but not because just like, hey, you're playing like garbage, but like we're taking you out. We need some time so you can figure this out.
Yeah,
But who do you put in place of Niels Hoglander?
exactly.
Like there's nobody. I mean, he's still under a great team control contract. He's still only 24 years old. If that's the guy that they have to trade to get themselves another defender to come help this squad, I mean, what are you paying now for? Especially if the guy that you bring in isn't a righty. Like who's
Mm-hmm.
out there? Who's available to you? Do you start knocking on doors again to try to look for a guy like Ethan Bear again? Like
Yeah,
what do you do? Like any guy that they bring in here is just going to be a stopgap guy. If this team doesn't get JT Miller back, like I don't know what you do. Like there's a couple of things that to have Miller and Hronek drop out at this sort of important juncture, like I don't know what they would possibly think of spending out of the assets that they have right now past Hoglander to try to fix this problem, because currently like you can't spend too much going into the playoffs with those two guys missing, because where do you go? So I don't know if I'm the one that's frozen or if it's Ryan frozen.
Are we still there? Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My internet just crapped out. That was fun. So
I don't know if it was your
thankfully,
internet, so I was just finishing my thought there, and then I saw you had dropped out, so I was just going to
it
wax poetic
was.
for a little bit, and then the volume went.
Yeah, it was
I
because
lost audio, and then I was just out.
it said keep trying Wi-Fi on my end, so something crapped out here. So whatever.
So my
Before
thought,
we
my
keep
thought
going.
was that
Keep going.
I don't know what Vancouver does in the case of having Miller and Hroniko. Those might be the two most important players on the squad outside of
Patterson
outside of
Hughes.
Quinn Hughes, right? Because
Yeah.
this team has been treading water without Demko. This team went from basically the All-Star break all the way to the second round without a properly functioning Patterson.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're right.
and if Miller goes and we also lose Hronik, they might be the two most important players to this squad. Like I said, outside of Hughes. So what happens then if Hronik's going to be out for any long period of time, or if the Miller timeline continues to remain unknown, because you can't go trade a bunch of assets in to make a playoff run without these two horses in your stable, because you're not going anywhere. I'm sorry to say, like,
No, you need that.
yeah. So
Someone said, I'm just reading on Twitter quickly. Someone said to bring Luke Shen back. Like, no, guys, he just signed. His family is staying put. That is a non-starter. Not on our show, because I'm just looking.
Why is it a non-starter?
Because did he not sign a no trade clause and he wanted to like settle his family down?
Oh,
You sure?
I mean, I don't know. If he signed a no trade, I that's pretty crazy. If teams are signing 6th, 7th defenders to no trade clauses, but
I don't know. I think he just wanted to settle his family down, didn't want to move again. So
hey,
anyway.
I get that. But if another team comes calling and you haven't signed an NTC, then it doesn't really
I haven't
matter.
looked. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. We're a little bit longer in the show, but I'm going to do an ad read on the show.
Here we go! Here we go!
I'm so good at these ad reads. I'm not going to lie. Amazing. I know you probably don't get to hear them all the time. You got a busy life. So sometimes these things just pass by, basically. Okay, so we've got through basically a lot of what we wanted to chat about. What we haven't talked about yet, and I feel terrible I'm not wearing this jersey today with the patch that should have happened. But end of next season, your Kelowna Rockets, my Kelowna Rockets, will be hosting the 2026 Memorial Cup. I cannot wait. I mean, I can wait, but it is going to be epic. One, because there's no more COVID. So people will be able to be freely gallivanting around downtown Kelowna. But everybody that remembers the 04 one, it was an absolute banger of a week. Don Taylor was doing Sportsnet Connected up at top of Coyotes. Met Sidney Crosby that night. That was great. And it was like the whole downtown core was just buzzing. They had kind of like the beer gardens. They had everything. There was so much to do. And knowing that we have this tournament again and what it took to probably win this bid, you got to think.
And that we already had it.
Well, yeah, and I know that probably factored in a little bit, but they had to upgrade some, like we're getting a new score clock, it sounds like. I know a lot of the LED lights and the LED screens and stuff are being upgraded. I know there's some other stuff. I don't know if it has to do with stands or whatever, but like you got to think there's going to be like a concert series. And, Kelowna likes to do outdoor concerts a lot. Like Rock the Lake is just so much fun. You got to think this is going to be something like people are going to have to schedule some trips to make this. We live here, but it is going to be so much fun. Plus the hockey. The tournament itself is always a blast, but I think getting Kelowna to, well, I mean, as a host team, they're in it. It is going to be a ton of fun. Congratulations to Kelowna and the Rockets and Hamilton and everybody. It's going to be a blast. And it also means we're going to be getting more events because of all these upgrades. So I know like we're getting the CCMAs next year. We're getting the Briar next year, which is in March. So it's going to be a good time. and then we get a big hockey tournament like that. So I don't know. Did you go to any of the games the first time it was here?
The first time it was here, yeah, I went to, I want to say it was Guelph versus Gatineau, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think Bobby Ryan was playing. It's kind of
Oh,
neat.
jeez. He's had a career already.
Yeah, like it was a long time ago, that first Mem Cup.
And
But yeah, they're gonna have a decent team. Like I think, like obviously TJ Ginla's gonna be there. I think Crystal has one more. Has that age 20 season, right? Can he not play?
It's one of those two. I just have this feeling like Crystal, he's just tearing it up this year. He better be on the World Junior team. But I'm skeptical to think that one of those two guys, or that both of those guys will still be here next year. I think Crystal's playing his way into a potential role on the Capitals. Like he was one of the last cuts, I think, this year. Tej probably will stay because they can afford to move him after this whole thing's done. Plus, he'll get some crazy experience by being here.
Yeah, unless
But
he makes it in Utah.
Wow. Yeah, it's tough to say. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just so exciting though. Absolutely so exciting. I don't know what we're gonna see, but Kelowna puts on a good show when the world comes to town. So I can't wait. I know my kids are going to be excited. We've got we'll probably have 3 seats for that tournament, so it's going to be a good time. So anyway, congratulations, Curtis. If AC, what does he say here? Keeps the pace up. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. Like he's had like 5 points a game like this week. He's had like their big 9-1 win last night. And I think he had 5 points the game before. I think he had like 6 points or something. So
he's crazy. He's crazy good. Like
Andrew Crystal is the new.
Right
he's my new Nick Merkley, and the fact that I got to see him pull off the Michigan like 10 feet in front of me, was it last or his rookie season or whatever? The dude has the silkiest hands, and just his hockey sense is just through the roof. So, yeah, I hope he's here. I mean, selfishly, but I could see why the NHL would want to see him called up for Washington. Because, I mean, how fun would that be to get to play with Ovi for a season? Pretty big deal.
That'd be okay.
You want to get into the Reddit challenge?
Sure. Yeah. Let's bring.
I'm going to try to pull this up, so bear with me.
The list up.
No, try to make this happen in the background here. I got some music playing, so you can fire it up. So who do we got?
I'm looking it up right now. So I think last week we left off with fastest skater, slowest skater, clutch, and worst coach. And I think I had Tortorella, worst coach, Linden, most clutch. Merzen, slowest skater, and Brett Hedekin. I think you had Bure for fastest skater, and I didn't write yours down.
Oh, that's fine.
But sorry, new phone. Okay. So question number 1 will be, wait, he played here?
What?
Yeah, exactly. So who's a player that you just completely forgot even ever played for the Canucks? Maybe it was just a stint. Maybe
I see. I thought you meant like actual weight, like
5-game
the
stint.
person's weight. Wait, he played here. Okay, that's a good one. I mean, it kind of sucks because people remember these guys in the funniest ways, but I'm gonna say, oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Take your time. Like, can you think of anybody that?
I mean, I've got a few in my head. Sammy Paulson.
Yeah, Sammy Paulson did play here. So that was us in. That was the year we got knocked off by the Kings in the first round when they went on their cup run. I think it was like our
2012, yeah,
President's Trophy.
That's right.
And we had to clean up the third line center spot heading into the playoffs, and they made that deal with Columbus to get their hands on Sammy Paulson.
And they tried to get him before, if we all remember the famous quote, well, yeah, if he didn't have mono. That's still one of my favorite quotes from Gillis. Is like, yeah, like what about Paulson? Well, yeah, if he didn't have mono.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna go Sammy Paulson.
I'll see your Sammy Paulson, and I'll raise you an Emerson Adom.
Oh yes.
I feel like his time here.
Did we bring him up?
We did talk about Emerson Adom, but I feel like his time here was like a fever dream. Like so many of those guys that were here, like Braden Holtby would have been a good guy to be like, oh yeah, he played here.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like Felix Potvin would have been a fun one, right? Like some of these guys that they came in as like some names. Maybe not Adom so much, but he was like a high end draft prospect. And if you watched the WHL, you knew that this guy was like big news coming in as a prospect, right? And was physically gifted. But his time here was short. He never amounted to much, and he was out of the league pretty quickly after that, right? And again, we can kind of say the same for Holtby, but yeah, it was strange times with a lot of those guys that were sort of cycling in and out.
Honorable mention, Nate Schmidt.
Nate Schmidt, great pick.
Honorable mention. Who's
gone on to like have a pretty decent career outside of Vancouver, and before Vancouver was a good player for the Vegas Golden Knights, right? So
it really sucked that COVID happened, because with all the restrictions and how everyone had to stay in their hotel rooms and everything, like it was so locked down that he really couldn't be a teammate with anybody. And I think he just felt isolated. And when you can only really do anything on the ice, like you can't build. I mean, it's like just having friends, right? I mean, we have chemistry on the field for ball, but our chemistry, like you and me especially on the ball field, carries over big time from like our friendship. I mean, you stealing that ball from me, like as funny as that was, like if we weren't good friends, that wouldn't be as funny. Like the whole drive home, like it just wouldn't be. It's like when Griffey did it to his dad. Like it's really not as funny if you're not that great of friends, like if you're not good teammates, right?
Yeah, I would
like
have never done it if it was a different team. No, there's no way.
Oh, 100%. Like you wouldn't. So yeah, Nate Schmidt, that I honorable mention for that one, I'd say. So, Grant's here. How you doing, buddy? Go back and listen to the show. That's right. We didn't plan on doing it at 3:30 in the afternoon. So
one more honorable mention, and a serious one of that would be UC Jokinen.
Yes. That didn't last very long.
No, sir. So there's a couple. There was Marco Sturm comes to mind. I don't know if you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So another name that was a good name that just Tuomo Ruutu would be another one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of funny ones.
Oh, geez. I'm glad we can just stop this one, because we could probably just keep doing that one. That one alone probably has enough to, carry its own show for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Frank Caprice, I think everybody forgets. So.
Frank Caprice.
Okay,
next one here would be, and I'm just going to say you can't use Pavel Bure for this one.
That's fine. Well, I've already said him. I got to pick someone else.
No, because there's a bunch that Bure probably belongs on here for. So
best Russian.
The next best Russian. Well, there's been some pretty good Russians on this team.
Fedorov.
Not Fedor.
Okay.
Biggest draft steal.
Well, I mean, it's between two guys. Well, no, it's not between two guys.
There's two ways you can look at this. Right?
I'm going to say there's two ways you can look at this. So it's either between two guys on the one thought process, or it's the other option altogether. There's 4 players, but 2 options here. And it'll go one of 2 ways. So I'm going to let you pick on this one, because that will dictate where I go with this.
Okay.
I think we both know what we're talking about here. Like there's 4 players.
No, I think I'm going the opposite direction here.
See, I'm wondering which way you're going to go, though. And I will give you I will give you, if it's the one option I'm thinking of, you can
Okay.
have more than one.
So I will take Yannick Hansen as the biggest draft steal for this team.
Really?
Was
Okay, that
selected
wasn't even on my radar
Was selected in the 9th round
when they still had 9 rounds.
when they don't even have 9 rounds in the 2004 NHL entry draft. He was one of the last players selected, and he went on to play 626 NHL games, almost all of them with Vancouver, save for 2 seasons in San Jose. One at the trade deadline, and then 46 games into 2017, 2018. Finished his Canucks career playing on the first line with the Twins.
Decent.
But yeah, man, had 626 NHL games from a 9th round draft pick. I don't know what the percentage is. Got to be less than like 1.5% for a guy to not only to be drafted, but to even make the NHL. I'm not even sure that far back. Do they got stats on a guy, likelihood of a guy making in the NHL being selected that late? So yeah, I'm going to take a 600 and almost 30 game player selected in the 9th round, 256 points, scored 109 NHL goals for a 9th rounder, and was like a pretty important player for that squad. Like, we've talked about solidifying like the 3rd and 4th lines on a lot of these Canucks teams and how it's this rotating door of guys that like are in, they're out, but he was just always there. He was always, he was the honey badger. He was annoying to play against. He was
the hardest working guy at practice. He was not your
typical Dane. That's another weird thing. Like a Danish player drafted in the 9th round, played 626 games, almost all of them for the Vancouver Canucks. So yeah, completely off the board here. I went in the opposite direction. This was a steal of steals. It was a throwaway lottery ticket pick for a player that played important minutes for your squad for the better part of from 2006 all the way up to 2017. So yeah,
so you know how like the draft works, and I'm sure you've heard Thomas Drance, and you've heard about the draft room and how like after round 3 or 4, like you're throwing darts, right?
What is it? You get a 50% chance of making the NHL outside of when you're in the top 10.
So like I would just challenge, like, is that a steal or just luck?
No, that's a steal, man. 100%. That's a steal.
Okay. Oh, so I want to go a few ways here. I don't know. So that I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for.
Do you want 2? You can do 2.
Well, I think, like I said, so I'm going to name the players, and I'm just not sure which way I want to go. I think as a steal, the recent ones are beyond obvious. I think like the last 7 years, the options are pretty evident, and I mean, it must be meant to be that these guys are here, because it makes no sense on why they should be here. The Sedins was the other one I was looking at, because I think it was tough to know like how good these guys truly were going to be, regardless of what you saw early on. It just thought draft. Like they were never going to be together. It was a horrible draft, and were these guys really going to be that good? They turned out to be Hall of Famers. They turned out to be 2 of the best players ever. But I think, like we just talked about it, and we have a defenseman that somehow fell in our lap. But I think, and I still want to hold out hope for this, but I do think like Elias Pettersson at 5, I think it was a mistake. Like, people's jobs should be on the line for something like that. I mean, that was a good draft class too, but I think I'm going to go, because the Quinn Hughes one we've already chatted about. I don't want to rehash that. I'm going to go Elias Pettersson. I think, knowing what we know, and I still believe there's tons left for him to show what he's done, rookie of the year, all that kind of stuff. The fact the guy like was 5th overall, people need to be shaking their heads a little bit. Like, the guy is he's an elite talent, and that they had, the Canucks said they properly had him ranked there. I mean, just assuming that he was going to be there at 5, like, wow, just absolutely stunning. And he's been brilliant for them. And like, his rookie season was almost feels like the stuff of legends, really. And he's had a bit of a tough go for sure. But I mean, how was a guy like that was still available, considering that there was talent that's around there? How did he make it to 5? And that's on the high end, obviously. So
yeah, pretty wacky.
Impressive. I mean, the Quinn Hughes one, like I said.
So two very different ways of looking at it for sure. So the other one for you would have been the Twins or Quinn.
Yeah.
The other, I would have been again the other way. I would have went Alex Edler, selecting him in the 3rd round. Franchise's all-time leading defender, played 1,030 NHL games for a 3rd round draft pick. So to me, again, that's a steal. You're going to get your 1st rounder. You got a good chance your 2nd rounder is going to turn into something, but you got a 3rd rounder who became the franchise's leader as a
linchpin for a long time.
Yeah. So two very different ways to look at it.
Yeah, and there are, I mean, that's some great picks. I mean, your Yannick Hansen, that's a great pick. I mean, I would say one of the ones that stands out for me, and he's never a Canuck, never was, but I mean, the whole Shea Weber thing, the fact that he fell that far. He's always one like that. That one just bugs me personally. Yeah, I don't even care what team. Yeah, like that many teams screwed that up. Anyway.
Okay, so next on the list is worst shot.
Ooh. Worst shot. Okay. That's now I'm thinking. Worst shot. Ooh, that's a difficult one. That's actually really difficult. Who's the guy that was hit? Well, I guess Petey hit a lot of posts for a while. But he's not worst shot. Oh, that's a tough one, Ted. I'm stumped. I guess you could say Lafayette, I guess.
Yeah, that's a funny one. Yeah.
It was great. I'm going with Nathan Lafayette. Yeah. He had a post here on the list.
He hit the post.
Yeah. It's not even a post, it's the post. It's like the stanchion.
So if I say this player, definitely not this year, probably not last year.
Convery.
Any of his other years that he's a Canuck.
Mm-hmm.
Because for a while he was a very unpopular player before becoming a hugely popular player in this market.
The Corolla.
So I'm going with Connor Garland for worst shot. Obviously this is going to be somewhat unpopular because he's having himself a year this year, but I don't know if there's a guy on this team that has more of a Kareem Puff shot than Connor Garland. And that's no slight to Connor Garland. I think if they did,
he's got a shovel. He has a shovel more than he has a shot.
I think if they did a hardest shot comp on the team, I have to believe that he's the lowest, right? And that's partly due, maybe that's his size. He's not that kind of player. He's not going to beat you with a big slapper, right? I mean, even his wrister doesn't look like it's that hard. Everything's accurate. That's fine, right? And I know this isn't hardest shooter.
He's all skill. He's all move and skill.
He's just going to dangle the shit out of you before he scores, right? So
yeah.
I think Connor Garland would have been my guy that I'll select. But
that's a good pick.
Only because we were watching the Buffalo game and this come up, and it's probably an honorable mention. But Chris Tanev in his 72 flex stick. I think it was Kevin Bieksa.
Willie Mitchell.
I mean, I bet you Willie could boom it, though. I don't know. But
he ended up being one of their top power play guys in LA.
Yeah.
As soon as he went to LA, he had an absolute crazy shot, and he was one of their top power play guys. In Vancouver, he was just a defenseman.
Yeah. So I'll say Connor Garland with honorable mention to Chris Tanev.
So I've got another guy for an honorable mention, but I can't remember his name because he's just escaping me. Who's the guy that missed all the penalties or all the breakaways?
Oh, that was Hansen.
Was it? No, there was someone else.
Well, Hansen had a ton of breakaways because the guy was burner fast, and
they
never scored.
More recent though. I feel like.
I don't know. Mikheyev.
Was it No, it was someone else. Anyway, I'll figure it out well after the show is done. But yeah, Yannick Hansen would be a good. Yeah, Yannick Hansen on a break. Guess what? Guess what?
Guess what?
Yeah, he ain't scoring. Do we have one
Okay,
more?
So we're gonna walk it back now, and we're gonna go from worst shooter to best shooter.
Best shooter. Oof. Marcus Naslund.
Marcus Naslund with a bullet.
Literal bullet. I mean, not a literal. That's not fair. Marcus Naslund.
Like,
The Swedish Joe Sakic.
Swedish Joe. I don't really ever recall him scoring a slapper goal.
Mm-mm.
Late in his career, he started taking slap shots. I'm not sure why.
Probably had to. He had to do force instead of skill. Like, I just don't got it. I got to power this thing through.
So I feel like best shooter then. I want to say Sammy because he could boom it, but I think I'm gonna go Daniel Sedin on this one.
I was gonna say you should go Daniel Sedin.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Daniel Sedin on this one.
I mean, Henrik had himself a season with Daniels down, so
yeah.
But yeah, that's a good pick. I was thinking like just like the target shooting and stuff. Daniel was just lights out.
Yeah, and then one guy that we never talked about obviously was Brock Besser, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, posts for Brock.
Rookie season Brock maybe would be our,
the one on Carey Price and Lundqvist.
Oh,
jeez. Just a second. I'm gonna go camera off for a second. Yeah. That Brock Besser would get honorable mention on that because he's got a great shot. He really does. I mean, he did. Just luck just seemed to find its way into his life. So whatever. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. That one I can do. That one I can handle with.
And that's it for this week for the Canucks list.
What was the question that was asked last week? I was kind of flustered this week, so I didn't really have the greatest rundown. I think Whit asked it. We did like the video game ones, but I feel like there was another question. Does anybody remember? Grant, do you remember what that question was? We said we were going to cover it for this week, and I said we'd have to wait. So now we have to wait till next week. Sorry, I suck. Whatever. So, yeah, it's about time for Sunday Night Football, Ted. Who's in the Sunday Nighter tonight?
I have no idea.
I think it's San Fran, right? I don't know. I could check. I'm pretty sure it's San Francisco. All I know is Ryan's fantasy team.
So it's San Francisco Buffalo.
Ooh, yeah. We better tidy this thing up because that's a point.
Yeah, I need a day from Ricky Purcell.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of running. I feel in this game because it's they're doing the thing in Buffalo again, paying everybody to $20 an hour to shovel snow. One of those kind of games. So there's a lot of when there's an open call for shoveling snow that there's a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So pretty awesome. We will definitely be back next week. Well, we'll talk. We may postpone it to the weekend. We'll see what happens. I got a busy week. We're getting into Christmas party season, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, our Canucks are doing well. I mean, there's a Boston game next Saturday, right? I think Boston's next Saturday.
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So we try to get a midweek one. So we'll figure it out. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. Do you have fun today?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's always good. Are you in your Christmas mood?
Yeah, like I'm getting there now. I think so. The wife gets really going. Christy gets really going at around like basically the 13th, right? 12th, 13th.
Yeah, I've been watching that. It's not good.
Trees out. Every time I come home, there's more decorations up. Stuff I haven't noticed. Every day, bags come home, more decorations, more Christmas stuff in it. But I don't really get going until around like the 23rd or 24th, right? No.
Like,
of November.
Okay, sorry.
Right?
I was like, that is basically Christmas. Yeah.
Like lead up to Black Friday, right? Because I'm in like sort of Christmas shopping mood. I'm going to hit Black Friday sales to do my buying and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm building my list around the 23rd, 24th. Start planning for the Christmas party at work, all of that good stuff. So I'm feeling better about it.
Yeah.
But I'm into Christmas spirit now. I think I probably won't get going on the movies and stuff until this like coming week. But that's kind of my jam, is the movies.
We started and the internet kicked out. Maybe it has to do with downstairs Deadpool and Wolverine. So
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
we have to reload that because we didn't get very far. Wife was asleep, so
It's so much fun. It's just it's everything. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
yeah, I have. Yeah,
okay.
it's on the theaters. It was great.
It's everything that you wanted them to give you.
Apparently, there's a few lines. I just saw one today that Disney asked to have pulled from the movie, so nothing repeatable on this show, but it's very good, very good. So anyway, folks, on behalf of Ted, I'm Ryan. This is the PP1 podcast, the best Canucks podcast in the land. Don't check the stats. On the Hockey Podcast Network, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook and Game Time, promo code THPN. Folks, our Canucks are killing it without all their guys. It's a fun season. Let's go. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. Go Canucks, go. Peace out.